Hello, everybody, and welcome into today's episode of the Maple and Blossom Podcast. Today is episode 17, and we are continuing our music month with the anime Sound Euphonium. I am one of your hosts, Maple, and with me, as always, is the co-host Blossom.
Yahoo! It is me, the best host of this podcast now. Yeah.
Besides me, you're the only co-host of this podcast. Of course, you're the best.
Please let me have this. I'm not really the best at anything. Let me just have this, okay?
All right,
Oh,
this is quite a long episode, so let's jump in.
okay.
All right, why don't you start us off?
Episode 1 starts off with you just see a bunch of students sitting around waiting for results and a girl gets upset when they get like a false gold like thing, right? That's what they got?
Yeah, they
What
call
did
it
they
dummy
get?
gold.
Yeah. So they did not make a nationals, and it where they it is about a marching band though. They are in marching band though, right? So that was right in the beginning, and then right after that, they starting. That was in middle school, and now they starting a high school. And so the main character arrives. There's a lot. I feel like there's a lot of main characters in this anime, but
There's a lot of characters in general because it's a band, obviously. So yeah,
yeah, exactly.
there was definitely a lot of characters in this.
So upon entering the school, they hear the marching band play like right out front, like so, like kind of trying to be like,
Like a
"Oh
welcome.
yeah, yeah, welcome, join our cause." Right? They aren't very good, right? So
No, and then the main girl Kumiko, she basically kind of says that she's like, "Oh my God, they're hopeless. Like they're actually really bad."
yeah, exactly. So we meet a girl named Hazuki, I believe, right?
Yeah, Hazuki.
And she
Yeah,
starts talking to our main girl, Kumiko. I'm
yeah.
just going to refer to throughout this I'm going to refer to Hazuki as Hazu, and I'm going to also refer to Kumiko as just Kumi. I just abbreviate all their names.
Okay, so you're gonna
So,
go Hazu and
I
Kami. Okay, got it.
yeah, just so like so you know, you're like,
Okay.
wait, who are you talking about? No, I'm using
Yeah,
I'm using like their chan, like I'm using like their nickname. Like I'm
yeah.
not going to keep saying their full name, but yeah.
So I will 'cause I don't care. But so basically, it kind of starts. They're kind of like talking to each other. Basically, starts because Kumiko is basically thinking about all the different ways that the band suck. So she's talking about like their pitching was off, their timing, and she's thinking of different ways, and she just keeps repeating that they just suck. And this is where Hazuki overhears her saying that, and she's like, "Who sucks?" Like she doesn't like fully understand because all she's just mumbling to herself, right? And
Well, no, I actually like this quirk. This is a quirk of hers.
oh yeah,
She's
yeah.
not mumbling. She actually just says these things like she says things out loud.
Oh
Right?
yeah,
Like
yeah.
it's
It's
not
her
yeah.
inner thought, and she just says it. Yeah, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
And it
yeah. It's a
happens all the
reoccurring thing.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Continue.
yeah, basically her and a couple more of the Kumiko, Hazuki, and then another one of their classmates who's Sapphire. But they kind of go back and forth with it because they call her Sapphire, but she always just corrects it and says, "No, my name is Midori." Um,
Okay.
the entire time. So they go to watch band, and they're kind of like pressed against the glass door, like looking in, and then they see the vice leader, Oscar, who basically
I
goes over, like jumps at the
I love
door, like,
Asuka.
"Oh yeah,
I
okay,
I I
okay,
love
okay." I liked her up until episode 9 or 10 started, and then I was like,
really?
oh yeah.
I
I was
haven't.
like, wait. I was like,
Did
oh,
I not? Wait, did I not get something? Did I miss something? I have no problem with her at all.
I'll cover that when we get to there.
Okay, maybe I just not remembering.
No, I just think it's a cultural thing, but again, we'll get there when we get there.
Hi. Okay, so ですね。
Yeah.
thinking, but yeah, okay, yeah, we getting there later.
Yeah. So we see her and her outward personality kind of takes over, and she's kind of flies the door open and drags him in, kind of like, come on, come on, you want to come listen? Come on, come join band, let's go. She's like extremely, initially hyperactive to the fact that all these girls are standing at the door trying to join, kind of thing.
I love the trick she plays here, where she like has the candy in her hand,
Yeah.
and she's like, "Oh yeah, you should you want candy?" And then who grabs it? Is it Sapphire? Grabs
No,
the hand?
it's Hazuki.
Kumi? Hazuki. So yeah, Hazuki grabs the hand, and it's a fake hand, right? It's just like, and she thinks it's Asuka thinks it's hilarious, right? She thinks it's like the most funniest thing ever, right? So,
Yeah.
that's like like, yeah. So it's like, okay, this character's like more of like, she's a clown.
Yeah.
She's a
No
clown.
one do you relate to her?
So, I'm not a clown. So next we see Kosaka entering the room, and she just immediately joins. She's like, I want to join. Right? It's like she just joins. And then you hear them just kind of discuss. Not much happens right now, and then you see Kumiko kind of thinking like, I don't know if like I want to join, right?
Well, because she's flustered by seeing Kosaka, which
Mhm.
from earlier in the episode we know that she was in band with her in middle school. So she kind of gets flustered seeing her and kind of runs off without trying to be like noticed, because she thinks that the girl is like mad at her and like upset with her because of how awkward their kind of like ending of their middle school time was together.
Yeah, I can tell you that by the end of this,
Yeah, their
they're
relationship
definitely
changes.
not. Oh, it changes, all right. No sin.
So
So
she's now telling. So now, Kumiko is telling the girls, like you said, she doesn't. She's not sure if she wants to join anymore. And then she ends up going home, where she sees her sister is home now.
she has a very like, her relationship with her sister is like, I don't even know what it is. It's very rocky. I think it's a good way for saying, maybe. It's
I
definitely
would say it's more Americanized. It's just you're okay. Go
mm,
away, go away. I don't want to talk to you. Leave. Just go away.
that that's like, I think that happened here more than you thinking it does. But
Maybe.
I think it's maybe like the way anime portrays stuff, right?
Yeah.
So, but like, trying to think, I can just. So I think maybe like at my school too. Anyway, we have to really get going here.
Yeah. So her sister asks if she's quitting band, and she says she's not sure. Like she thinks she might. So then we kind of see Hazuki had bought a mouthpiece, and she's trying to like practice, but she doesn't even know what mouthpiece she even bought. So she's just like, oh yeah, I'll try these different things.
She
It'll be
bought
so cool.
that's right. She bought like a random thing.
Yeah. In her head, she just grabbed one and just went with it. So we later discover what it was for. But at this point, the two girls, so Midori, who used to be in band also in middle school, and then Kumiko, they both know exactly what it is. They just don't tell her, and they just let her kind of carry on. Um, so we see Kumiko is thinking back to a lesson that she was taught about how to use the mouthpieces, and she kind of shares it with Hazuki, and it kind of gives her confidence and allows her to actually be able to kind of practice a little bit. Um, and of course, they both agree to join, and they ask her to join with her. And at first, she is very hesitant, but then she kind of comes around near the end of the episode.
And then episodes 2 starts out with Kumiko trying to talk to Kosaka, sorry, I want to say
Kosaka.
Kose. So,
I know.
yeah,
Me
Kosaka.
too. I kept doing that almost the entire
It's like,
time
oh my
throughout
god.
this.
So it doesn't really go very well this first time. And then so we learned that Kriko plays the euphonium. And after they join the band, they start assigning instruments, and we see. I like this part. Like we get to see all of the leaders of the instrument groups, right? In hopes like, oh, this is why you should join. This is why you should play trumpet, or this is why you should play like oboe, or like
Yeah.
just like these the leaders of like each group and stuff like that, right? So I kind of thought this part was like really cute. And then we see them playing a bit, and then they kind of talk. They play and they talk for like 5-10 minutes, and like
Yeah.
I don't feel like anything was really worth noting right here. I don't know if you had anything.
There's not I mean not much. I mean they go through their practicing. They are trying to get a bunch of the early first years to do more fundamental trainings on breathing. So they get them to do a bit of like abdominal
Mm-hmm.
training to like really focus on their breathing exercises at first. But oh, sorry, that was
So
episode
Kim,
3. I'm looking at the wrong episode. But
I
yeah,
was like,
yeah,
I
a
was
lot
just
of it is just a
when I was
practicing.
watching when I was watching these early episodes, I was exhausted. So
Oh, I
like
know.
I was not fully here for these notes,
Yeah.
so I will be
Um.
on. So despite
Yeah.
not
The only
wanting to
thing.
play Euphonium, she gets stuck with it, right? Because of
Yeah.
Irasan.
Well,
Um,
the reason she gets stuck with it is because her friend has a big mouth.
yeah, that is
So as
true.
they're
But
going through, she's trying to hide the fact that she used to play, and we end up seeing her talking with one of her childhood friends. Um, is it
Ari,
Shuichi? At first, it was Shuichi. Is that how you say his
okay,
name?
yeah, yeah, Shuichi.
Shuichi. So he kind of goes up to her and he's like, "Oh, you actually decided to go to band after all." And then while the two of them were talking, that's when their friend Aoi shows up. And basically, "Oh, you two are here too," and she kind of talks to them a bit, and then she says, "Oh, you're gonna play the euphonium?" And then, of course, as soon as Asuka hears this, she's like, wait, you and I need to have a conversation over here. she goes like the death eyes, like, oh, you and I are gonna come talk over here. And I like how she keeps going through, like, wheedling her way through the groups and like listening for key things. Like, she's like, she really, really wants to get, for whatever reason, she really, really wants Kumiko to come play in their in her area. So she's like trying to recruit all of her friends in hopes that they'll like, oh yeah, maybe she'll want to come play with us if all her friends are here. So she comes up with this. She sees that Hazuki, her mouthpiece, is for the tuba. So she comes up with this elaborate plan to be like, "Oh, why don't you try your mouthpiece in these instruments? It's like choosing your destiny, and the one that fits is your destiny." And it's like this ridiculous like lie just to get her to come over. Yeah, she early on she was actually really hilarious. But yeah, so they ended up getting her to come over and play the euphonium.
The teacher also asks everyone what their goal is here, and many of them vote to try making it to nationals. And there's something we learn a little bit more too later on about the Skuru, which is actually very interesting. So yeah, and then that's kind of it. And then at the end of the episode, Kumiko tries to talk to Kosaka again, and it just again doesn't. There's not much progress being made as the episode ends. I don't have much more than that, honestly.
From her side. So she doesn't fully get out what she really wants to say. Because I think in her head she thinks that Kosaka is upset with her. It is mad with her about what happened at the end of their, middle school relationship kind of thing. So near the end of this episode, as she's going to approach Kosaka to talk to her, Kosaka says, "Oh, I see you're playing the euphonium again in high school too." And then she kind of walks away. And she kind of makes note that even though she didn't get the chance to say anything, she's still happy with how the conversation went.
Mm-hmm. Hi.
And of course, this is where episode 3 takes over. Just like you said, that's the end of the episode.
Again, we just see them breaking into the groups and practicing on their own. Um, This is where they pick their
Yeah, this
instruments
where the,
and then they practice tuning and stuff.
yeah, yeah, and they do their
Uh,
abdominal training throughout this and that. Yeah,
they also noticed that the band doesn't have many second years, and right now it's a bit of a
yeah.
touchy subject that we don't know much of anything other than there's not a lot of second years, and we see them play as a full assembly, and it was really bad. And the sensei here, Taki sensei, has very high standards, and yeah, we do learn a little bit more about the second years from last year. Kind of, we're butting heads with the third years often, right?
It was a clash between the first. So what it was is there was a clash between the difference of opinions between what was going on. So
hmm
they would have been the first years at this point, I think is how it was, and
Yeah.
they were just clashing with them because half of them wanted to take things more seriously, and it wasn't so much like a clash with the upper, but it was a clash with more of like internally between those groups. So we find out that they were going through and they were telling them like, "Hey, we want to get serious. Like, there's a large group of us that want to take it serious," and they were just being ignored. So a lot of the ones that they were talking to were just ignoring them because they were just like, "No, we don't want to do it, so we're just going to ignore them until they, basically go away." The issue with a lot of the third years or the second years at the time, I guess, um, is they weren't doing anything to kind of like slow things down. Like there's very few of them that were actually trying to do anything. A lot of them were just very indifferent to the whole thing. Kind of
Mm.
like, yeah, whatever, I don't really care kind of thing, right? And it made like a big toxic environment where half of them quit because like they said, like, if you're not gonna take it serious, we're not gonna do this. We don't want to.
So the next day, group is cancelled because of the animosity, I guess, with the sensei's like high standards. Like, you think this is like good enough to like perform with? Like, you guys sound terrible, pretty much. So instead of practicing, no, now like all the groups are now just on strike, and the group leaders are trying to get together to kind of figure out
Discuss
what
everything.
discuss and how everything is
Yeah,
going to turn out. And we also hear that Kosaka plays by herself, and she plays like really well, and it can be heard like around like the scooter and stuff like that. And everyone's
yeah.
kind of taking note about like the rich sound that her trumpet though is like producing, right? So that's kind of it for the episode 3. I don't have much more unless you have something that I maybe missed. Again, these are still the early episodes where I'm kind of like on a bit.
Yeah, not necessarily. Like, I mean, the only other thing is you kind of see early on that there's something going on with Kosaka. Like, maybe there might be some kind of like, I don't want to say relationship, but more of like a knowledge of who the sensei is. Because we see Kumiki and Shuchi are talking together on their way home about the whole situation with the second years and talking about how harsh um, the sensei is, and she kind of like clashes and kind of like yells at them like, he's actually a really good teacher. Like, please don't talk bad behind his back.
Mm.
And then yeah, you kind of hear Kosaka kind of like yelling out her frustration because again everything is just with the way that everything has been going on with um, a lot of the second years again trying to not take it seriously. Which again, I can understand her frustration because it makes me mad too when he tells you up front, we can either work hard or if you want, we can just go take it easy and just have fun. So if you agree to work hard and they get mad at him when he tries to get you to work hard, that would annoy me too. Like I would be so annoyed at that. And then yeah, like you said, this is where episode 4 kind of takes over with again the continuation of their being upset with the sensei who they feel is now holding their festival hostage because he's basically saying like, look, like if you can't perform as a group together, like if you can't do a basic assembly, I don't want us going because you're just gonna make the school look bad. You're just gonna make us look bad. So it's like, if you
Mhm.
can't do the basics, we're not going to go to the festival. And a lot of them are mad because they're like, it's tradition. We always go. So he's kind of like holding it hostage to us. So we don't really like that. Someone needs to talk to him and kind of like tell him, too bad we have to do this.
So we see kind of Taki-sensei just kind of giving up. Well, he's like, fine, I'll like help you guys out and stuff like that. So now he has them running around the practice field though,
Doing
and
laps.
doing like breathing practices, and you see them moving on from task to task, and some of the students are like, why do we have to do this again? And it's like, I told you, if you do this, you have to do it perfectly 10 times in a row for us to move on to next kind of
Peace.
next task, right?
Yeah.
um so then we actually see them all practicing together, and uh so Kumi is upset with Kosaka, right? About an incident that happened. I- What happened here? Do you not have this in your notes? Something happened with Kumi and Kosaka, but part of my notes got deleted, so I have nothing out for episode 4. So
Uh,
I'm sorry.
generally, again, it's the same thing. Is they're just kind of talking about his teaching methods. It's Kumiko and Shuichi are just talking again about his teaching methods, and Kosaka is just defending him, just basically saying like he's awesome. Like, you guys got to stop like kind of talking about him, kind of thing. Um, that's generally it. Like that's pretty much the whole thing. She kind of pulls her aside and she talks to her again, like in a private spot, like, look, like, you got to take it serious. We got to practice and, like, kind of like lay off him. He's actually really good, kind of thing. And that's pretty much it. Um, and then near the end, again, they just go through and they play together, and you can see that they're improving quite a bit. And then he kind of
So
just
they
gives them
get
a
to go
practice
to the
schedule.
event, though, right? He
Yeah,
says
they
they
go
can go to
so
the
they can
event
go
though as well.
to the nationals. He was giving them like a hefty practice schedule to kind of get them prepared to kind of go through. And he's saying it's like it's not going to be too much work. He goes, so like we can do it, kind of thing. And then that's where episode 5 begins, where they're going through their physicals. Classic Japanese.
So we see they get the outfits.
Yeah,
I actually think the marching band outfits that they have for the bento is, I think these are cute. I actually kind
yeah.
of like the top outfits. We see them practicing in the marching band formation, and the Midori is going to be on the Kuragado. And they chose her because she looks cute.
I
It's
okay. I will admit that would kind of annoy me the day of the day before. Like, if you have me in practice being yelled at and grilled by the sensei, like, practice harder, 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 practice, practice, practice. And then the day of, they're like, okay, here's your pom poms. You're going to be cheering in a formation. You're not actually going to be playing. I'd be like, eh, eh. And I have to
I
learn
don't
this
know. I
routine.
think I've
I have
been
to learn
no.
this
I think
routine
I've
right before. Eh. Like, we could have been doing this the whole time. What are we doing?
I think somehow I could have been fine with it. So anyway, they Asuka is being the what is it, the drum major? She's like
Yeah,
leading them as they march and stuff like that.
yeah.
So we see that Kumi and Kosaka walking home together. They kind of chat a bit. I have nothing of
There's
note
nothing. It's
about their
just basic.
conversation, right? It's just
No,
more
it's just
basic,
basic
like
conversation.
day-to-day thing.
Yeah, yeah.
So then we get to the day of the event, and while at the event, Kumi sees an old friend, right?
From middle
And
school.
from middle school, and they kind of just reminisce and talk about why they chose each other's school that they
Yeah.
ended up choosing and stuff like that. Again, nothing really much to say here. And then
The only kind of
Vika, mm,
the only kind of note of point here is they're saying that you talk about Kosaka and how she had actually turned down an opportunity to be with basically the top girls' school, if you will, for
mhm.
music, to go to the school that they're at, and she's like, I don't understand why.
Mm. So the Rika school does very well, which kind of starts like gets to the group like, oh, okay, well, wow, they were like so good.
Yeah.
Can we do that too? But
Can we compare
uh,
kind of thing? Yeah.
they all regained their confidence thanks to Kosaka, who just plays the trumpet, and everyone's like mad at her, like, "What are you doing? We're supposed to be quiet. We're supposed to be letting them like, you know." But it
You
was
can't
good.
play
Like
during
it
their
snapped them.
performance.
Exactly, but it
Yeah.
snapped them back. Like, oh, okay, yeah, we can. And they ended up performing, and they did very well. And that's kind of where this episode end. I know we're like flying through these, but there's just a lot that doesn't happen in these episodes.
Well, it's just a
Like a
performance. It's
lot
just
of
a
the
basic performance
chatter,
episodes.
yeah, it's a basic performance, and a lot
Yeah.
of the chatter and stuff from certain episodes. I'm like, well, there's nothing like a lot of the. It's just everyday like normal high school
Well, it's just
chatter.
dance stuff. It's just again dance
Yeah,
stuff. Hey, I'm having trouble with my fingering on this piece. Here, let me show you how a trick on this. And
I
yeah,
can
I
help
know
you.
music terms, but
No, wait. I didn't know we're talking about music here.
yeah, you're already a semi-professional at that. So.
I would like to think I am professional. I've had
So yeah,
lots
so
and lots of
generally that's
years
where a lot
of
of the stuff is. It's
practice.
just a lot of musical term, a lot of musical talk as they're sitting in their groups and going through a lot of their performance stuff.
So
Yeah, so
episode
that's
6
pretty much it.
begins
Yep.
with the school has never passed the preliminaries for their region as they strive to make nationals. They've also never ranked higher than third, so they have like huge aspirations for where they want to go and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So they kind of are looking over songs and stuff. They're like kind of debating on what songs they should play,
Yeah.
and we see them cleaning their instruments and just they do things like that. They hear Kaori play her instrument though. Hazuki is struggling to play her tuba still, right?
Yeah.
Um, I like how we see the progression of them practicing. I think that is like really good thing that they showcase throughout this entire
Yeah.
anime so far. So it's really funny because they were all when they were in their subgroups, they were like, "Oh, well, what's a song that we can play that Hazuki right can play?" Because Kumi is worried that Hazuki is going to lose interest with like playing the instrument because she's like struggling, right? So they end up playing Twinkle Twinkle Little Star together. I swear, this is like the third anime we've done, I think, this month that had Twinkle Twinkle Little
Yeah.
Star in it. Like, which one was it? I'm pretty sure the first Love Live did it too, right?
At least at some part, I think they sang it briefly.
But yeah, no, exactly. It's like
Yeah.
I don't know why, but Ari wishes her luck after seeing her practice on a benchy by the river. I don't really. That's kind of it. I'm done with that episode unless you had something else to add from my quick
Yeah,
recap.
kind of the major part at the beginning, where
Mm,
he tells them he's going to hold auditions for the competition. Um,
hi.
that before the seniors always had priority, but now because he wants them to make nationals, he feels that the best should go through. So he actually wants to hold an audition um, to be able to choose that stuff. And of course, not surprising, there's a lot of opposition about this kind of thing. Um,
Oh, there's going to be a lot more.
okay, yeah,
Oh
I
yeah.
know, and that's really what's got more along like with Hazuki being nervous. It's because she's kind of like, will she be able to go through? And then they're worried like if she doesn't make it, will she quit at that point, right? So they're trying to get her to find a way that to actually love the tuba and love the music. So
Mm.
in the end, she kind of like you said, she gets it when the three of them kind of perform together, and she kind of says, "Oh, okay, I get it. It's the music. Like we just made music," and she kind of like finally like understands. Okay, I understand what you guys like about this, right?
So I think that's kind of. I will say that's probably the thing that makes brass instruments wind instruments and stuff like that, I think a bit different than
Yeah.
string instruments. There's like there are certain instruments in the wind families. It's like you and the brass family is like you need to play with someone else because your singular instrument isn't really good for producing the music. You need to kind of play with group, I think,
Well,
at times.
it's like an
Where it's
acapella
different with
singer.
the
If you have
Mhm.
like a heavy bass, or if the extremely high pitched voice, like individually, you're kind of like, oh, okay, sure. But then when you hear them all together and harmonizing, then it's like, oh, okay, okay. I would actually argue it's a lot like Love Live, because there's a lot of the original cast where their singing is not strong, but when they're in the group together, they really harmonize well.
They really sound like uh from the music from the dub dive music I've heard, they sound like the most complete group just
Yeah,
because of all of their vocal ranges
yeah.
blend perfectly together. It
Well,
just
that's just
works
it.
so well.
And it's a lot like this again, like individually, like a tuba individually is not the greatest sound,
Hi.
but when you actually add it in with everything, and having it fill in that kind of like bass, yeah, you can really hear how well it kind of fits in, right?
Mm.
So, and then again, this is where episode 7 kind of kicks in with, again, more practicing for their competition.
So Kumio sorry. Kumiko overhears girls talking about Ari quitting. And it's kind of revealed a bit that Ari might be quitting because of the events of what happened last year with the
Yeah,
second years, right?
yeah.
So this kind of gets brought up again, right? So it is it's immediately shown that yeah, the next day Ari does quit. And more it is more speculation about her becoming the president may have because like she didn't become the president, right? And there was speculation that if she did, maybe she would have stayed around, right? And that's also kind of revealed a little bit, shedded more light, like maybe because of the events of the year prior, she did not become the president, though, right?
Well, because
So
she
that's
felt bad because she feels like she should have been able to kind of get the girls to stay, and because she wasn't able to actually get a lot of the second years to stay and not quit, she kind of puts a lot of the blame on herself for this.
mhm.
Even though there's several older, like a lot of the older girls, Asuka and them, but she's the one who feels a lot of the guilt of all this.
So, yeah, and the reason why she said she is quitting is because she's like, I need to focus on getting into college that I want to attend, though, right?
Yeah,
And the
which is
second year
clearly
is
a cop out, but
oh yeah, exactly. The second years push each other away as some of them tried. Well, the reason now we learn that what happened was some of the second years were trying to take it seriously, and there were others who weren't, so they kind
yeah,
of split, right? And there's kind of a huge like animosity thing that kind of transpired from those events. So,
yep.
uh, I really don't have much more to say except for like at the end, where Kumi was asked that if she was going out with uh Tsukamoto or sorry, uh Hyuchi, right? Um and that's kind of exactly where the episode ended. I don't have it like I said, I have nothing else more on episode 7 unless you do. I have
The only kind of thing is just again the leader, like the president of the group. She is kind of now feeling bad about Aoi quitting, and she kind of like takes the day off, kind of thing. And then throughout this, you can also kind of see Kumiko was also distracted by the whole situation, and she's kind of playing distracted too. She's kind of like wishy washy, and not starting her parts and stuff like that, and because of the whole like the whole situation and the tension of everything, right? And then, like you said, yeah, at the end, that's where Hasuki asks if they are dating, and that's pretty much kind of leads into episode 8, where she basically confirms that she's not date. They're not dating. She just, they're just friends, and just kind of wants to know why. And she
but
plays it
Hazu
off
is
like, "Oh, I don't
just
really like her. I don't really care." But Midori's all over that, like, no, 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 we're not doing this. Hey, I personally, I think more romance animes need somebody pushy like her as like their
Hazu
friend.
is interested, right? Like Hazu is interested in Shuichi, and
Yeah,
Midori was like, "Oh yeah, invite him to go to festival." So
yeah, like you could do it. She keeps
they,
like pushing her and like, no, you're gonna go do it. You're gonna go ask him. Go.
yeah. So you just kind of see like very basic girl gossip here, where they talk about dating and stuff like that. Uh, and Shichi asks Kumi if she wants to, if he wants to go to the festival with him. And
Yeah,
when Kumi leaves the room, Shichi thinks that it was a sign that she wanted to talk. Uh, right? Because like she kind of looked
she
at him
looks
and
at
then
him
she
and then
leave.
leaves.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly. Uh, and he was talking to her about the festival, and she proclaims that she's going to be. She's like, "I'm going out with. I'm going with someone else," and she just grabs the person who walked right out of the room, and it just so happened to be Kosaka,
yeah.
which was like hilarious. I was like, oh, because she didn't even know it was her. And when she looked at who it was, she's like, uh.
Well, and that's just it. And then Hazuki comes out and she asks if he can go talk with her for a moment, and he kind of says, "Oh, I'm gonna, I'm talking with Kumiko," is what he's trying to say, and then Kumiko basically says, "No, it's okay, you can go with her," kind of thing, right? So they go off, and then we kind of see as they will kind of disappear. You see Kumiko is now by her locker. She needs to get in her shoes and that, and then Kosuke kind of walks by. And is like, "So yeah, when and where are we gonna meet up?" So she's like, "Yeah, okay, sure." Like she immediately like just basically agrees to go to the festival with her. And then, of course, this is where the day they go through their practice, and then practice ends, and then they get to go out to the festival.
Yeah, so Kumi and Kosuka, oh sorry, Kosaka meet up with their instruments and they walk to a shrine. And it's really weird because like everyone else is going to like this little festival and they're walking up like this like small mountain or
Climbing a
whatever.
mountain, yeah, to go to
Yeah,
the shrine.
exactly. So Hazu and
Mhm.
Shichi, um sorry, Hazu asks Shichi out and he turns her down. And then she said she'll help him hook up with Kumi. And then Kosaka's goal is to become she's like she wanted to be like a special trumpeter player.
Yeah, she wants
And
to stand out. She wants to be a special player.
Kumi also like compliments Kosaka a few times, and
Yeah,
so they make it. I really like this part. They make it up to like the hill, right? And they kind of look over the town, right?
yeah.
And then they play together, right? Which I thought was like really cute, like little things, right?
I will say, Kosuke's outfit in this was actually really cute. I will say that.
Oh yeah,
When she
Kos
first
like
showed up, I was like, "Oh man, that's actually a really cute dress."
well, it's and the reason why you probably said that is like you could literally imagine me wearing it, right? Like you're like, oh yeah, that's something I would wear.
It's not like that,
I know you,
Chad. It's not like that.
yeah,
It's not like
chat. It is like that, chat.
that. So yeah, there's a lot of like a weird atmosphere between the two of them as they kind of like go up the mountain, because they're like compliment, like you said, they're complimenting each other, and in weird ways. Like Kosuke's telling her that she has a terrible personality,
Right.
but that's what she likes about her.
Yeah,
And
we'll
then
find out that
she
Daiki is
goes and
more of
like,
a daisuki.
well, that's just it. And then
Well,
Kumiko
see,
is
the thing is
basically
too,
like,
is like these, I guess, were the seeds of those feelings that I just
well, that's just it. And like
wasn't sure. Like, I wasn't sure in this moment. I'm like, okay, how is she actually meaning this stuff,
well, that's
right?
just it. Well, you get like other little tidbits because like Kumiko, like as they're walking up, she or yeah, so as they're walking up, you can hear her go like, she looks at her shoes. She's wearing heels. They're like walking up the mountain, and she's wearing heels. Kosaka. And she looks at her feet and she can see like almost like redness, like almost like blisters forming at the back, like on the heels, right? And she's like, "Doesn't that hurt?" She's like, "Yeah, but pain doesn't really bother me. I kind of like it." And then you hear like Kumiko go, "Oh yeah, that's so hot." like, you're so hot, kind of thing, right? And it's
Yeah,
like,
and I was like, "Wait, what?"
yeah, and then like as he
It
gets to
is
the
a bit
top,
weird. I was definitely like, "What?"
well, as he gets to the top, and then Kosuka's like, saying how she'd been thinking about hanging out with her for a while, and then
Mm.
as she talks about a terrible personality, she like boops her on the nose and like slides her finger along her lips, and I'm like, where are we
Yeah,
going
yeah,
with this?
that's
And then,
what I was thinking too. It's
yeah,
like,
and like later
okay,
on, like after they play, she like puts her hand on her cheek, and then like you can see like uh Kumiko like put her hand up to it, like kind of like embracing like tenderly, and they start talking about like they're playing together and like like all these things, and she's kind of like, yeah, um, it's just this like weird atmosphere like as they're up there, and I'm just like, what is going on here? Like, what is going on? What's this tension between the two of them? And yet we get more of it later on. Like it gets, I'm like, oh yeah. So episode 9 starts.
and it's the day of the audition is drawing near, right? So you
Yeah.
see everyone in their subgroups practicing, and then Asuka walks out because the group was kind of just idle gossiping and stuff like that. And she's like, we're here to practice. Like, stop wasting my time," sort of thing, right? And then
Yeah,
she
she
walk
gets
out.
very upset because they're focusing on the fact that Midori is not there because she feels bad for basically giving Hazuki the push to ask him out and gets rejected. So she's feeling really bad about it. So they're talking about it like her not being there, and I hope she doesn't feel like this and this. And of course, like you said, she gets extremely upset by all this and kind of storms out like, "Look, I'm done, dealing with you kids. I'm gonna go practice by myself because I can't be around this nonsense." And the other seniors kind of basically tell her like, "Oh yeah, she's mad. Yeah, she's definitely upset." Kind of thing.
So yeah, while on the train, Kumi and
Hazuki.
Husky are talking, and things are a little bit awkward because of how things went with Hazu on her date, though, right? And so, oh yeah, and then sorry, um, yeah, it gets a bit awkward, and then Shiichi kind of walks onto the train as well, right? Um, I don't have much more on that part. Did
Well,
you write
basically
down
the
like?
only thing of note is just more along the lines of like Hazuki is trying to get Kumiko to kind of take note of her feelings of Shuichi. So she basically says
Mm,
like, what do you think about him? Like you guys are always like you're always looking at him in practice and like all these things. She's like, it's not like that at all. And she's like, oh, so you don't actually know your own feelings then. Basically kind of like,
mm.
oh, you're still in that we're just childhood friends stuff. And then she's like, well, when you figure it out, come let me know and I'll back you up. I'll come support you kind of thing. And that's when she goes to like get off and she sees him coming on. She runs the other way, basically, gets out the other
And
doors.
hi.
So then they go and they head off to their auditions or getting
Hmm.
ready for their auditions the day of. And Kumiko was
And
basically
Kumi
off
worries
practicing.
about, yeah, because Kumi's worried about not being good enough, right?
Yeah,
As she hear other members of the band playing, right? And the
yeah.
day of the audition, everyone of course tries their best. And the ones who passed were Narai, Saki, Chieri, Chikaro, Asuka made it. Kumiko, Takia, Riko, Sapphire made it. Shuichi, Kari, Sana, uh, Junichi, Yuko, and Kosaka. And that's how the episode ends, by them just kind of naming. And then the next episode number
Well,
10.
as episode 9 ends, the other part is we also see that Kosuke, not only does she make it for just being a part of the trumpets, but she also gets the trumpet solo. That's a part of the song.
Hi.
And then this is where episode 10 starts.
Yeah, with some animosity starts arising because the seniors have lost out to some of the juniors, right? And they're just not sitting right with some of the senior classmates. And we see them trying to reassure the others who failed, and everyone starts working hard on the pieces for the competition, right? And Yuko asks Sensei if he knew Kosaka before the audition, believing that he played favorites. I like Yuko's design, but I hate her character.
Yeah, I
Is that
hate
just
it.
me?
No, I absolutely. This is the episode I started fuming at this episode. I
Mm,
this is the part where it really took me out for a lot of these characters
hype.
within here. I would not have been so upset with Yuko about having these feelings. It's okay to have these feelings and being like, talking to Cowdery and being like, look, like, I really think you may have played favorites kind of things. But Cowdery tells her, drop it and don't spread these rumors. Like, stop it. Like, as of right now,
Mhm.
these are just baseless rumors. Just, it's fine. Let it go. And it's the fact that she keeps going with it, keeps spreading the rumors, and does it a direct confrontation in the middle of practice. It's the part that starts it for me, where I was just like, "Oh my god!" Like if the person you care about tells you to let it go, just let it go. Like what are you doing? Like in this moment?
Yeah, Yuko pushes back, and Kosako like walks out of practice because of it. And then Kumi goes to comfort her, and then Kosaka like kind of
Yeah.
admits that she knows the sensei, and I was like, Okay, okay." And then for most of this episode, Taka Sensei's like rumors become the topic for a bit here, and it's kind of really breaking everyone's focus, right? And Yuko again pushes back on Sensei again as he enters the room, and he announces that they would. He's like, fine, to like kind of put everything to rest.
Yeah.
Yeah, about to Yuko pushes back again, and Sensei's like, he's like, okay, fine, because there's like so because there's a lot of everyone is like talking about this, we will have a second audition for those who want to try again, and of course the only one who raises her hand is Asaka. Yes, Asuka. No, not Asuka. I'm sorry. uh
Calorie.
Kaori. I'm sorry. Yeah, Kaori.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where episode 10. So I want to kind of pause right here real quick. I know this is a 14 episode anime, but we're actually flying through it because again, it's like a lot happens, but not a lot happens to make note of, right? So I want to
Yeah.
kind of take a minute here and say I really I love this episode because of what it does for the story, but I also hated it because it really showcased like the bad parts of like Yuko's character,
Yeah.
where she's just like so. And the thing is too is like we never have heard from this character yet at all in the end, like the first 9 episode, and now
Well,
she's just
the only thing is you see looks. You see her
oh yeah,
showing
no yeah yeah
extreme jealousy and extreme like bias and anger towards Kosaka just because of her talent. And I think in her head she feels like, yeah, she's definitely overshining Kaori. And Kaori basically tells her, like, please don't be mean to her. Like, stop ignoring her. Stop being mean. Like, let's move past this nonsense kind of thing, right? Um, and you do get a sense of a lot of it. Now, I will admit, like I was saying, through episode 10, this is the parts where I really start to kind of see a little bit of negative personality stuff that I really don't like.
So yeah, you wanted to mention that before we continue here. So what was it
Yeah,
that you said? Like you say maybe it's like a culture maybe thing, and I'm kind of
yeah.
curious on why you were
Oh,
saying
yeah.
this.
I'll go through that. So throughout this year, okay. So after the initial argument, like you said, Kosaka runs off, and then Kaori kind of goes to check on her, and kind of just to make sure she's okay. And she's just basically like, look, I'm just frustrated with everything, right? She's like, you know, I'm better than her, and I'm better than her, kind of thing, right? So thinking back on the whole situation and about, what do you think should be done? Like, who do you think should actually do the solo? Should we, like, what should we do to kind of kill this tension, kind of thing, right? Because at this point, people are basically trying to say that Kosaka should just give up her solo to Kaori, just to kind of move past everything, right? Get past this
Hmm.
animosity, get past this stuff. So she goes and she talks to Asuka, okay, and they get Kumiko to go because they feel like Asuka kind of like respects her in a weird way. And initially, she plays the whole her usual character, like, "Oh, I don't really know. I don't really have an opinion. I don't have anything to say on the matter." And she's like, "Okay, well, off the record, what do you have to say about this?" She's like, "Is it a secret just between the two of us?" And she's like, "Yeah." She's like, "Honestly, I don't really give a damn. I don't really care what happens. I don't really care who the lead is. I only basically care about me." And I'm like, I hate the two faces. I hate the Japanese fake face and the whole I will hide my opinions and just say what I think is culturally acceptable, even though deep down I feel something different. I hate the fakeness. I hate it. Really hate it. Throughout this episode, you really start to see more and more of her negative personalities show out. And I'm just like, if you were just like that from the beginning, I would have been fine as well. But I really don't like the fakeness myself, personally. This is where I really started to feel negatively about her,
Mm.
personally.
Yeah, I think I can maybe I don't know, maybe I can understand it. Like, of
Of
course I
course you can,
understand
because
it,
you're
right?
part of that
Like, no,
culture.
no, I understand. Okay, yes, but so yeah, I can understand, like, cause like they're when they're at school, which is weird because not they only showcase this a few times in anime
Yeah.
with certain characters. It's not like they showcase this with every character, and I think everyone has this sort of like thing about them. I think like even outside of Japan.
Oh, there's always fake people regardless of where you live.
Well,
Correct.
yeah. I work with like people who are like they are just so fake like all the time.
Oh, yeah, I know. We talk
Like
about
I'm
it.
just like, oh
We
yeah,
talk
no,
about
yeah,
a
we
lot of
talk
it.
about it.
Yeah.
Where I'm just like, okay, like you are saying something in the moment just because you know it is like the right thing to say. Like we know
Yeah.
that's not how you feel. Like I know, especially from some coworkers, I'm just like, yeah, I know that's not how you feel, right? I know
Yeah.
you're like, and there's some coworkers where like I hear them talk, I'm like, I, I know you are not like a good person. Like I just really know. Like I really
Yeah.
know what your true intentions are. I know like yeah, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
I know
yeah.
you don't want to
Yeah.
be here and I feel like some people like I don't know. I don't want to get into it. This is not the
I know.
platform for saying
I
that.
know.
But yeah, no,
I
I
know
know
what you mean.
exactly what you mean. It's like
Yeah, yeah.
the thing is too, like even like because we're living in our society, right? It's like we know. It's like okay, well we know like everything is face value, right? It's just all
Yeah.
it's all bullshit though, realistically.
Yeah.
Um so yeah, episode 11 starts with again everyone practicing, and Yuko wonders how the first years. Yeah, Yuko's kind of still like, there's no way the first year can sound so good. It's not possible, and like she thinks it's unfair, right? And then Kaori and Kosaka continue to practice for their re-auditions, and then Yuko asks Kosaka to throw the audition because Kaori was the best in the band last year, and this is her last chance to perform in high school. And then Koska's like, she she does kind of pondering this for a little bit too, um,
For like a
before
second,
it
perhaps.
for like a second, right?
But she snaps herself into it. She's like, she basically tells her, she's like, look, if she's good, she'll just, if she's as good as you say she is, then she'll just win the audition. And then again, it's where, like you said, Yuko pushes back, like, yeah, but this is her last year, and Kosuke's like, yeah, what
It's
does
like I
that
don't
have to
care
do
about
with
that.
me?
Like that
What
has
does that have
nothing
to
to
do
do
with
with me.
me? Yeah,
It's like
yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, and she kind of like walks away. She like walks out of the classroom. She's like, "Look, it doesn't matter to me. Like, if she's as good as she thinks she is, she'll just win then. Like, we're just gonna leave it to the audition, and that's more that, right? Um, and then that's pretty much it. They go through and the day of they start going through. They go to the hall for the audition and they
I
go through
actually
like
like
a practice.
the venue that they get to. I was like, oh wow, it actually
Yeah,
looks like so nice, right? I think, and like they were also like the students too were also excited. They're like, oh, we get to playing here, right? Like so they're kind
yeah,
of like
because
very
it's a
excited
big
for as well.
yeah,
It's
it's a
like a
big
big like
auditorium, right?
auditorium. Yeah,
Yeah.
hype. So it is very nice, I think. But then yeah, Kumi also kind of reassures Kosaka right before the audition that they have to do, and then so yeah, Kaori and Kosaka have their audition where I don't particularly like the thought process about mm,
I
the
think what it
thought
was is
process.
I think what his thought process was is he really wanted the students to hear just how good Kosaka is, but also in a way have Kaori also hear it.
Hi.
In like a
Yeah.
side by side and like tell her like, look, I know this is your last year, but even if you win, because obviously the audience is going to be biased, you know deep down you don't deserve it.
See,
And I
and
think
that
in a
was the
lot of
thing
ways he
too.
wants her to say it.
Yes, and she does end up saying it, right? She ends up giving like because basically the teacher was like, okay, after each girl is done, you clap, and whichever one gets the loudest applause or whatever will win, right? And so obviously everyone just kind of goes all out for Kaori. Like
Well,
it's
there was only
basically just
like
like popularity
it
contest, though,
wasn't even
right?
like really
It
that
wasn't.
much
It
of
was
a
like
vote. It's like a
like
4 to
two, three,
2,
four.
three
Yeah,
three
it's
to
like
2. Like it wasn't
like
really a
no
whole
one really
lot.
claps exactly,
No,
right?
they were all just being indifferent. Like nobody wanted to actually participate in this little display kind of thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you had like your two cliques that were kind of like in a way going back and forth because you had Yuko and her little clique, and then you had um Kumiko kind of joined in, and really only one of the other groups kind of snapped out of the performance because she was just stunned by it. Oh wait, yeah, we have to clap, kind of thing, right?
Hi. So at the end, Kaori does realize this, and she kind of like gives up the competition, right? Which is like, yeah, Kosaka deserves to play it, right? She deserves to get the Soto, which I was happy about in the end. I was like, okay, I think
oh,
this is
oh
good.
yeah,
I wanted her to win so bad the whole
I was so
time.
fired up.
I
I was
just
so fired
wanted to
up.
get like I wanted Yuko to get slapped in the face.
I did.
I
I was
was
like,
like,
take
I
that,
really
loser. I was
just
like, take
yeah.
that. I was like, in your
Thank you.
face, loser. I was so fired up watching this
I was
episode.
so happy too. I was like, yeah.
And I don't know because you've listened to me as I've done my live reviews for you, and yeah, you know how intense I can get watching these.
I, and it's not just with this anime, like it's other animes too, where it's just
Oh
like,
yeah,
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 like you really, when you really get into it and stuff like that. So
I know.
it's very indicative on how good the story is. And like I said, we're flying through these episodes because not a lot happens, but also
Hey,
at the
hey,
same
hey!
time, a lot happens,
You
right?
also missed a very big part. Okay,
Mm.
so earlier in this, Kumiko goes and checks on Kosaka before the audition to kind of make sure she's okay. And Kosaka basically is still a little unsure as to what she's gonna do. It's almost like she's still contemplating maybe throwing it. And she asks Kumiko if she would be upset if she lost. And she snaps back and says, yes, she would be upset. And you can kind of see in a way like Kosaka gets like this shocking look on her face, like what? Like you would? And she's like, yeah, because you told me you're supposed to become special. So if you're supposed to be special, then you're not supposed to lose, right? In a sense, is what she's saying. So she's like, so you have to win. And she basically is like, well, this is where they get like really intense. They get like really close to each other, and like gets like really in her face. And she's like, will you stay by my side? Like, will you always be there for me? And she says yes. and she's kind of like, again, she's got like her hand, and they're like tenderly touching each other's like hand, because like Kosaka has her hand right up against her cheek, and then you know um, Kumiko is like holding on to it, and they're kind of like sharing this tender moment. Literally, I swear, I thought they were gonna kiss.
I thought it
Literally, I
too.
haven't noted. I
Yeah,
literally thought they were
I
gonna kiss in this
I was
moment.
like, are they gonna like heated moment angry kiss here? Yeah, I was thinking
I
that
literally
too.
thought it was gonna happen,
Yeah.
and then
Mhm.
Kumiko basically ends the conversation with, "This is my confession of love, after all," and she kind of like basically confesses.
Again, it's like, are
Implied.
you
It's implied in
confessing?
these moments.
Are you confessing your love for like her, the person, or are you confessing your love for her, the musician, right? Because they are two different things. So
Yeah,
even still now, I'm like, okay, well, there were two moments that they had together, and I'm still
yeah.
like, are they? Are they not? Like, I was not really 100% sure just yet,
Well,
but
it's
I
just more.
do.
I don't think they'll ever really fully actually admit more than this. I
Mm,
think it's just going to be more of like an implied "we love each other," but we don't necessarily know more beyond that, right?
okay.
Like I think that I think
Yeah.
I think literally this is all we're going to get. It's just more of like our own imagination. Imply it however you want to take it, but there is an announcement of love, whatever version of that you want to take it as. This is what you can go with. It's I think all they're realistically go with in a lot of ways on this one. But yeah, it was just a really kind of like, again, the way they were staring at each other and everything. It was just extremely intense. I was just like, I was waiting for it. I was totally waiting. I was like, are they seriously gonna? I was like, oh, this is kind of unexpected.
So episode 12 starts with they are in the final stretch now towards the competition, and they are work as you see. You continuously see them working hard and practicing as much as possible. And Kumi practices alone, trying to get better. And Kosaka comes to give her confidence, and you can see like throughout the episode, right? Like Kumiko is kind of getting dizzy, right? She's kind of like her vision's kind of blurred, and it's
Oh, his
it's
nose
it's the
bleeding.
summer, right? And like yeah, while she's playing, she gets a nosebleed.
Yeah.
And she's been practicing a lot lately after being inspired by Kosaka, right? That's kind of like what like her reason for playing and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, and she's been like taking her instrument home, and she's been like practicing by the river and stuff like this, right? Um, and of course, while she's practicing herself, she can also hear that Shuichi is also practicing by the river too. Um,
Mm,
and she kind of takes note, like, oh, like he's also struggling too, just like I am, right? And it's kind of like in a way this like inspirational kind of thing, right? And then of course, on her way home, she runs into Aoi, and she asks if she regrets quitting band, and she's basically like, no, I don't actually regret it. Like it was always going to happen this way, anyways, kind of thing,
mm.
right? Um, but you can tell it does. So as they go back to their overall band practice, Taki is telling them to keep working hard. That their sound is not quite there yet. And then he gets each one of the Euphonia players to play on their own, like kind of like one at a time. Um, and then he gets Kumiko to play, and he asks if this part of the song, like the part he assigned to them, is too tough for her, and she says no. And he asks her, like, "Are you going to be ready in time? Because you know this is going to be bad for everyone else. Like, this is going to be reflective of everyone else. Like, if you're not ready to go, right?" And she's like, "No, I can do it." And he goes, "Okay," kind of thing, right? Gonna again putting his faith in her, like, okay, like this, let this be motivation. Like, if you're not good, like this is gonna reflect poorly on everyone else, right?
Exactly. So like he has no problem calling people out, but then
Yeah,
he also like is also there to give inspiration, right?
yeah. And again, like you say, Kosaka comes by and sees her practicing again, and she goes through with another kind of, okay, well, let's play together. And then the two of them again just continuously start playing together.
Mm.
So, and then Kosaka is walking up and she hears Kumiko playing in the room, like early in the morning again. And then she's approached by Kaori and Yuko, who basically says, kind of like just good morning kind of thing, right? And then she tells them she has something to say to them. And she basically apologizes for being so smug at the auditions, essentially.
Yeah, and then here like Kumi calls Kosaka, right, and asks her to meet up like late at night, right? And
Because she
she
lost her
kind
phone. So
I- well,
she loses her phone at the school, and she ends up having to go to the school to go pick it up. And then she has like a brief conversation with Taki, who's still there working late. And he basically tells her like, keep working hard. Like, don't forget that I'm gonna hold you to your promise that you're actually going to be able to perform that part of the song, kind of thing, right?
mhm.
And he even shares a little bit of a story with her, basically like even he gets scolded, and he says that the vice principal has actually been scolding him a lot lately because he's been holding too many practices for them. He feels like the vice principal feels they're practicing too much, and he's like, I don't really pay any attention to it, kind of thing, right? And then yeah, that's when she looks at her phone and sees that Corsica has actually called her a lot. So there's like a lot of missed calls, and then that's when she kind of like calls back and says, "Hey, do you want to meet up at the train station?"
And this is where she realizes sorry, Kumi realizes like the reason why I play is because I love my instrument though, right? Like this is like big reason why I'm playing and stuff like that. So that's
Yeah,
kind of where episode 12 is ending.
yeah. She basically, yeah, like you said, she basically confesses her love for her instrument, and she does even the same kind of thing when she's talking to her sister. She basically also says the same thing where she just loves the euphonium, essentially.
Yeah, I'm not just like I really don't like her sister, her Nisama. I just
Oh, her
really
sister's
don't.
annoying.
Yeah, her Nisan is like so annoying.
Yeah,
And I said like the relationship is a bit touchy right now. It's like I think in a way her sister failed, right, when she was in school.
yeah,
So she almost wants her sister to also fail because she doesn't want to feel like the only failure. Because like she keeps coming home despite her like being in college, right?
yeah,
And like she's like, "Oh, you're home again, right?" Like, um, shouldn't you be like at your own house? Like, why are you here and stuff like that? Which
yeah.
again is like weird, like sort of like a bit rude. So I don't really understand this, but maybe.
Well, it's like the teenager is like, you're just annoying me, like go away, kind of thing, right? It's like you don't respect me for a lot of things. I don't respect you anymore. It's like simple things like I tell you not to barge in my room, you barge in my room. Like it's like the basic like back and forth like teenager stuff, right? But like you said, I do agree with you that I do feel like there is definitely a bit of animosity with her sister, where I feel like her sister feels like she had to give up her music for college kind of thing, and in the end she still failed anyways
Hi.
in getting into her preferred college, right? So
Mhm.
again, it's the same kind of thing. So she's like, what basically it's like in her heart she feels like, okay, well, what did I give up music for then, right? Like what exactly did I give it up for? Because I didn't get into the school I wanted. So it's the same kind of thing, right?
And she
um
keeps pressing her sister, right? About like you
Quit and
shouldn't be
focus on
playing.
school.
Yeah, exactly. Like
Yeah,
I don't like almost in a way like I don't want the same thing to happen to you what happened to me, right? So like you should take your studies like more seriously and like quit playing around in a band or right?
yeah.
So
Yeah, essentially, and that's pretty much it. Now, the other thing is too, I liked in episode 12 is there's a moment too where, because of all the criticism that she's been going through and a lot of the stuff here, because again, like during the practice, Taki's very upset with her in a way and gets her to kind of sit out. Just listen to Asuka and how she's playing, because you're just playing too badly. I don't want you to affect the rest of the group, right? And she's getting very frustrated with a lot of this. And she has a moment where she's walking home and she just starts running and she's just crying and crying. And at one point she just starts screaming in frustration. about how she wants to get better and how bad she's feeling about it. And she says the same words almost in a similar way that Kosuke says back in middle school. Like, I'm so upset I want to die. And then in a moment, she kind of like, kind of like stands up in a moment and kind of like has like a snapping effect where she's like, oh, oh, this is actually how she felt back in middle school. And she's kind of like in a way, kind of like has that connection, that relation kind of thing with her. Like, oh, okay, I actually understand how she's feeling a bit now, right? Um, and then, like you say, that's pretty much where the episode ends. And then we jump into episode 13, which is where they head off to the school to start meeting up for the performance day. So they got to go and start packing up. So you kind of see Kumiko and Kosaka meet up on the train, and they're kind of sitting together, and they go back and forth, where they kind of like bump each other's arm, kind of playfully, which I thought was really cute.
So, yeah, I have almost no notes on this
Well,
entire
it's not much
episode because I'm
notes.
like, it's the
It's
day of
not
the
much notes.
competition, right?
They
The
show up.
members
They
who
go. They start pack up. They pack up. They start getting ready. They arrive at the theater hall, and they start getting ready, unloading stuff, getting their instruments out, and they start tuning and getting ready for the performance.
I do like how like the group of people who didn't make it, right? They kind of make like good luck charms for everyone.
Yeah,
I thought this was kind of like a cute little moment, right? Where they're like, even though we didn't make it, we're still here for like support, though, right?
we're
Sort
still
of
here to
thing.
support you guys, kind of thing. Yeah,
hmm
yeah,
So we
which
see
was
them
really good.
play. I'm not going to die. I like skip the song. I was just skipping through this. I just don't like Bond music. I'm sorry. I did not sit and listen to the entire song.
Wow, wow. Okay, so for those who are not lazy, um, the song was actually good. Their performance
I
was
thought
actually
they
really
played
good.
well. I said they played well.
How do you know you skipped it?
I didn't skip all of it. I like listened to like because like it was like what like 5 minute long, right? It was long,
Yeah.
right?
Well,
Yeah. So
they did
like
a few performances and then the solo. They did a couple songs and then the solo.
right. So I was listening to a little bit of everything. So yeah, I know it sounded good, but it's just not my thing. So
Boo, boo.
I
Yeah,
like
so
my
the performance
classical
was
music.
good.
What can I say? You too.
I do like classical music. Does not mean I can't appreciate this.
Okay.
Yes, the songs were good. The performance was good. They actually played it well. So now they're kind of sitting around nervously waiting for the results.
Yeah, and it's almost like that flashback too of like with middle schooler, right? Like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, like are they gonna do it? Like stuff like this. Like everyone's kind of getting nervous and stuff like that as they start to unravel the banner. And they get gold! Yatta! They made it this
No,
time! Eh?
no, they didn't get the dummy gold. They got the real golds,
Beep,
not the
beep,
dummy golds.
beep.
Beep, beep, beep.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
so
got the real gold this
they
time,
got the
right?
one that they wanted. They got the one they wanted. They got to move on. Now it's not nationals, but they get to move on closer to nationals.
Yes, they
I
get to
think this
move
is
to the
just a
next round.
regional. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the regional one, I guess now. Um, where if they win at that, then they go on to nationals. So we'll kind of see where that goes,
So yeah,
which will
it
be
was good.
interesting. Yeah, so that's basically where that one ends, and then we jump to filler episode 14.
I don't I have there's no reason this episode should have even existed. I'm sorry. I am so sorry. I just feel like this episode should never have existed.
There's no real point to it. Again, it's a filler episode. So it starts off with them talking to the girls who basically did not make it. So there's about 10 of them, and they did not make it. So they're the ones who failed the auditions, and he basically tells them to use this as motivation to kind of get better and improve and get ready for next year, essentially.
はい。
Um, and he asked them to they're the reserve members, and he basically asked them to come up while they're practicing the piece to come up with a name for themselves. So they go through and they're kind of like floating around name ideas,
Like most
and
ridiculous names idea ever. Like what? Some of them are
I
so
know,
long.
I
Like
know.
what are you talking about?
And then they're like, "Well, why don't we use the first character of all of our names?" And then they kind of say it out loud, and they're like, "Well, this is actually really long." And then like, "Well, what about the second years? Why don't we just use the second years?" And they come up with the name Monica, which is the first character of all the second year names. And they agree. They're like, "Yeah, I like it. It's actually a cute name. Like, let's just go with that." So they go and they introduce themselves to the regular band as we're the group Monica, and everyone's kind of like, okay. At first they're kind of like, that's kind of weird, but then they're like, oh no, I don't know, it's kind of cute, I guess. So they just
Yeah.
kind of like basically go along with it. So and then again we get to see a little bit more of the progression of Hazuki and Shuichi. So she basically runs into him, and again, this is after the failed confession, and kind of feeling a little bit awkward. So she basically goes in. She's trying to carry her tuba now down the steps, and
Okay.
at first, the early part of this conversation, I was like, "What is she talking about?" At first, because I was like
Okay.
really
Okay.
confused.
Did you see like when he was walking up the
Oh, the
steps?
upskirt toe. Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, hi.
I know.
She's like, oh no.
She's like
She's
squatted
like in
like
this
way down.
squatting awkward position because like her tuba's on her back about to crush her,
Yeah,
right?
and then
It's like
he's coming up the steps at the
I'm
exact
sorry,
moment.
like if I was about to be crushed by instrument though, I'm pretty sure the last thing I'm worrying about if someone could see up my skirt hole. Anyway.
Yeah,
So yeah, the Midori and Hazuki they talk a bit and you kind of realize that Hazuki kind of does regret confessing, right? Like she's kind of thinking like maybe things would be better with everyone like between us if I never said
I
anything,
did.
right? Because now it's just kind of awkward things that is kind of happening, right? So you just see how the members are spending some downtime together, right? And they do like the arts and craft and they do shopping, right? To like get the stuff to make for like the people in the actual like group, right? Like this subgroup is like having a little bit more fun, a little bit more relaxed, and a little bit more lenient, right? And I was like, this episode was basically the perspective of the day of the performance too, for those who didn't make it, and it's
Yeah,
mostly of the perspective of Hazuki, really. So I don't
generally
really
speaking,
have much more to say other than
there's not
like
much.
that.
Like,
Realistically,
um, the day of the performance, they realized that one of the band members forgot the mallets back at the school, and they're wondering
uh,
what to do. This part, I was like, what are we doing? What are we doing? So they lose track. They're like, oh, well, we don't have time to go back and get them by car. So the solution is Hazuki says, "Oh, well then I'll run back and get them." I'm like, "What? What am I hearing? What are we doing?" So she rushes back,
so you can
grabs
run
them, and then
faster. She can run faster than car. Let's just
apparently, I
she
mean,
can
maybe
run
with
like a
traffic, I get maybe, but yeah, so she
I
rushes back, she grabs them, runs
again
back.
like I at a certain point I
I
just
know
don't
it's
know if
just,
that
what are
would
we
be the
doing?
case though.
Well,
But
that's
yeah.
just it. So she rushes back with the mallets, and she ends up going to see everyone, and it's kind of like, "Look, I got them." She like literally hands them as they're walking through the doors to go out to their performance. And
Yeah,
then yeah,
like this
and then,
for the most part a lot of this anime I really enjoyed because it
yeah,
was pretty realistic. Like even the drama things, like right, there's drama in high school and stuff like that. So a lot of the drama scenes, a lot of the way people feel, and a lot of the connection and connects that
yeah,
everyone has. Like it was very, very high school. It was very written very well. I liked a lot of that. I love the progression and I love like the practicing moments and stuff like that. And I like seeing how like relationships change and get affected because of like people not confessing or people getting turned down, and like because
Yeah,
these are all real emotions and stuff, they were so good at capturing a real life emotional thing. But then there's just few moments of just like what is like like again like, oh, I'm gonna run back to the school before and get the Maritsu. Like
I know.
come on, like like it takes me out of my emotions sometimes. Just a few times I'm just like, oh, if they didn't have these like over the top moments
I know.
that were just so unrealistic, I'm like, I might have actually given this a better score than I did. And I still gave this like very high score so far after the first
Yeah,
season. I gave this one, for me, I gave it like 8.2. Like there are things like I have a very strong feeling that by the end of this anime, I'm probably gonna give it the same score as Love Live because it does things that Love Live did better, but
yeah,
I have to actually know it because I'm just not a big fan. Like personally, I'm not a big fan of the musical, and I'm more a fan of the musical that was in Love Live.
yeah,
But everything balances out in a sense where like I think both of these scores are going to be probably the same unless something crazy like happens in the next two seasons that we watch in the movie that we're going to watch, right? Unless
yeah,
something crazy happens, I'm probably gonna keep it like a 8.3, 8.4 maybe. Like, but right now I have 8.2. I'm just hoping it does get a little bit better.
yeah, yeah. Again, for me, like I'm around the, like I'm at 8.4 is where I'm at. Like I said, like a lot of the things doesn't necessarily bother me. Like I don't necessarily like. Yeah, it's not my favorite music. Like yes, I prefer, classical and symphony music, but I'm not necessarily doesn't take me out of it. It doesn't. I'm not like mad at it. Like I do enjoy a lot of the music while they're performing together. Like I said, individually, some of the times when they're performing, like it kind of hurts my ears a bit, um, but together when they're in the ensemble, it is really good, and I do enjoy it. So
That's the thing I think is like obviously the solo trumpeto playing is good. Trumpeto
yeah,
is
I
one of
like
those
trumpets.
musical instruments like okay, you can
Yeah,
kind of play that alone, it's okay. But yeah, sometimes when I'm like listening to them practice, especially like the euphonium and the like tuba, I'm
tuba,
just like ugh. It's like I'm sorry. Like
especially
I
when
get
they're
it, people like it and that's great, but for me
especially when
I
they're
have
playing bad,
struggle with it. Yeah,
especially when they're playing bad, because you can hear it,
oh,
and you're
that's
kind of
another
like,
thing too, exactly.
especially when I find too with Shuichi when he was playing the trombone.
Oh yeah.
And there was one of his performances he did when he got him to play in the solo, and he starts. I'm like, oh, yeah, that's off. Oh, that's bad. Like I could hear it. That's bad.
Right? And
Like
I'm
I could
getting
pick
it.
up
It
on
is
it.
supposed to sound bad, right? That's the
No, I
point.
know.
Obviously, that's the
That's the
point.
point, right? Yeah, yeah.
Right?
But I'm
Right.
like listening to it. And I'm like, oh, yeah, no, that's bad. Oh, yeah. Like I can hear it. And, like my ears are like, I'm like, stop it. It's so bad. Especially when they started. Like at first, like when they go to the school for the first time, and she's like listening, like, wait, is it just me or are they really bad?
That's what I was thinking too. I'm
And
like,
I'm like, are they
because
bad? Am I just
so
missing something?
without knowing anything, I didn't know anything going into this anime. I
Yeah,
had
yeah.
no idea. I literally didn't know anything. So I was like, oh, are they just trying to like start up a like a band
Band
though?
like
And
just
then
it's
like
like
when I learned, I'm like, oh, this school had a band. I was like, oh god, they were bad. It's just
no,
like,
I was listening to it and then I was
oh
like,
god.
wait, is it just me? And then when she pointed out
It's like okay, good.
Kumiko, she's
I'm not
like,
stupid.
they're like, oh, they're bad. They're bad, and I'm like, oh, okay, okay, no, I got it. Okay, I wasn't missing something here. But
Exactly.
yeah, I think that's it for today's episode.
Hi. Okay, everyone. Thank you for if you made it this far. Thank you so much for listening to another entire episode of the Maple and Blossom podcast. So we are very appreciative for all the listens, short or long. It's great. Follow us on all our social media, TikTok, Instagram, Spotify, YouTube. Mostly TikTok and YouTube are big ones. So like, if you
Yeah,
could really following us there, that'd be fantastic. If you really like anime and you like what we are doing, please share with friend. Check me out over on Twitch, I'm streaming Octopath Zero. So I'm having a lot of fun doing that. So and it'll be good to start to get some interaction with some of the listeners. If you guys want to kind of interact with me, you can ask me like anime questions and stuff like that. What I play, I would love to actually get more involved with the community as well. So it'd be wonderful if you guys can come and do that. But yeah, I think I said everything.
Yep, we're all good from here. So
Okay.
that's it for today's episode. Thank you guys for listening, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.
Bye bye. Mata ne.